All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to another very special episode of Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here today on this very special day. If you're watching this live or you're watching the replay on the same day, it is Saturday, February 14th, 2026. Happy Valentine's Day to each and every one of you. My lady Dawn and I are going to spend some time together tonight, have a nice dinner, and kick back and just enjoy each other's company. Hope you have some great plans for Valentine's Day. If you have a Valentine, if you don't, hey, don't worry. There's plenty of time for everyone to find the right person. But hey, we got some other things to talk about here today, and we're going to get to that in just a few. But before we get to that, first of all, as always, let me make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Let me check out the back end of YouTube, and it looks like it's rolling well. Excuse me. It's that time of year. Allergies. And let me do a sound check. It looks like the notification has gone out. Let me do a sound check. 26. Happy Valentine's Day to each and every one of you. My lady Dawn and I are going to spend some time together tonight, have a nice dinner, and kick back and just enjoy each other's company. All right. All is rolling well. My lovely lady Dawn. Excuse me. Man, these allergies are really hitting me hard this week. My apologies here. My lovely lady Dawn is here first in the chat. 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out while we're live. Happy Valentine's Day, my love. Feel free to put those hearts in the chat if you'd like. And it looks like pretty much all channels now, I believe, have moderator shields instead of moderator wrenches. YouTube has made that transition. Maybe they thought wrenches were depicting something not proper. They don't want to depict, hitting someone on the head with a wrench, so that's why they probably changed it to a shield, meaning that we're here to protect the channel. That would make sense. I get it. I still prefer the wrench. I like the wrench. We've been used to the wrench for years, many years, but hey, it is what it is. It's just a symbol. The functionality of moderators are still the same. All right, let's get to the topic of today's show because we've got a lot to go over and there's a lot to do even after this. I'm probably going to do a Walking with Purpose stream shortly after this. It'll be a chill walk. And then Don and I are going to have Valentine's Day dinner. So the topic of today's show is let's correct what the defendant in my circuit civil case said last night and what really worries him. One more time, the topic of the show today is let's correct what the defendant in my circuit civil case said last night and what really worries him. Yeah, he ran a live stream last night, the defendant in my circuit civil case. If you're new here, I've sued a YouTuber I've known on this platform for over 8 years. He's been commercially exploiting me for over 6 years, defaming me for dollars, smearing my name, having other people, do the same thing to me within his group in coordinated fashion. It's called acting in concert. That's the proper litigation term. And it's been just the massive copyright infringement and all that. There's also going to be a federal copyright case coming very, very soon. This one guy has been pretty much living off my name and likeness as, his monetary content engine. And, after all these years, I finally had enough. I tried to ask him to stop many, many times. Every time I would ask him, he would say, F you, Eli. It's my freedom of speech. F you, Eli. It's fair use. He likes to hide behind fair use copyright law and the First Amendment for protected speech as a shield all from, liability. And that's not the case here. And that's why we're in a circuit civil case, and we're both representing ourselves pro se. And I've done a pretty good job at handling myself pro se with my filings and otherwise. We're not going to get too far into that. I just wanted to give a little, background for the people that are new here. But let's get into what happened on his stream last night, and then what else is going on with the people and his network. There are other creators that act in concert with him or are a part of his group that share the same audience. It is basically his audience that's being shared amongst these people. So there's been a lot going on, and I'm going to sum it up for you folks here and correct the record, and that's that. So, yesterday, I planned to do this, but I finally decided to send the defendant an email. And I sent them an email that's very proper to basically, you do that to show that you're making an effort to do what's called meet and confer through email or phone calls or whatever. I do it through email because it shows an electronic trail. It's like a digital paper trail, right? And this is what I sent. Here's my synopsis of email correspondence between the defendant and I. On February 13th, 2026, I sent an email to the defendant concerning ongoing litigation in our current circuit civil case. The email had two primary purposes. First, it served as a litigation hold and preservation notice, requesting that defendant preserves documents, electronically stored information, also known as ESI, and other materials relating to third-party rebroadcasts or watch parties of my content, including communications, participation records, analytics, and related materials involving third parties, such as someone that goes by Bill. Second, I made a limited conduct request. Let me repeat. I made a limited conduct request. This has nothing to do with speech, which is what he's trying to, play his audience on, right? I made a limited conduct request asking defendant to refrain from participating in or facilitating third-party rebroadcasts or watch parties using my copyrighted content, while explicitly clarifying that the request did not seek to restrict lawful commentary, criticism, or opinion. So he knows I explicitly stated, I'm not trying to silence you from talking about me or your freedom of speech in general. What I'm saying is, when you go into these chats that are rebroadcasting my content, that your audience is going there to these third-party channels that are run by people that are a part of your audience, okay? I'm basically saying, conduct-wise, it is wrong to go there and participate in something that is content theft. It is content theft. You guys may not think that, but it is. Right? This has nothing to do with First Amendment protected freedom of speech. Okay? He knows that, but he has to spin it a different way to his audience, right? The email also included a similar preservation request regarding my domestic partner, who's my girlfriend, Dawn Ledgerwood, and asked defendant to avoid encouraging third parties to contact or target her, again stating that lawful commentary was not being restricted. I requested confirmation of receipt and preservation compliance. Okay. And yes, the defendant did say some very nasty things about my lady last night. Unfortunately, that is covered by the First Amendment as insulting. But what he doesn't understand, if he keeps doing it, it becomes a harassing pattern, then it becomes harassment. Okay? So, and here's the thing. I mean, why would you want to flex your muscles and flex your First Amendment rights to go out there and give you a free license to insult people? What kind of a human being does that make you? Even if you have the right to do so. I mean, that doesn't make you a good human being. Yet he tries to come off like he's some kind of saint, right? Defendant replied, acknowledging receipt and confirming that he understood his obligation to preserve, excuse me. Damn. Defendant replied, acknowledging receipt and confirming that he understood his obligation to preserve materials required under applicable law and court orders. However, he declined to agree to the conduct-related requests in my email, stating that such requests were not the subject of any court order and that he would continue to comply only with lawful obligations and directives issued by the court. So basically, you're going to continue to, harass myself and other people as part of your content engine until there's a court order telling you not to. Instead of being a good guy and saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, this is protected speech, but this is not the way I want people to see me. This is not the type of person I am. Well, in essence, you're proving you are that kind of person because you're flexing your First Amendment rights to give you a license to continue to insult people. And you have the right to do that, but what kind of a person does that make you? You try to make yourself seem like you're some kind of saint in front of your audience, right? And you're contradicting that with flexing your First Amendment rights to give you a license to insult people, call my lady the B word, a female dog, many times. Like, we're not bothered by that at this point because we just know how you are, right? But how does that make you look? And you don't really care. All you care about is making money. Right? Let's see here. Give me a second here. Yeah, give me 1 second here. Let me see here. All right. So defendant further stated that consistent with the court's discussion regarding a confidentiality agreement, he was willing to agree that materials properly designated as confidential under a mutually agreed agreement or court order, including financial records, private communications, or other sensitive information, would not be publicly disclosed and would be used solely for purposes of the litigation unless otherwise ordered by the court. We both concluded on each of our emails by reserving all rights, claims, and defenses. It's a standard thing you put at the end of an email like this. In summary, my email focused on preservation and narrowly framed conduct requests tied to rebroadcast activity and targeting concerns, while defendant's response confirmed preservation compliance, rejected the requested conduct limitations absent a court order, and expressed willingness to enter a broader confidentiality framework governing designated materials. That broader request, sir, is not going to happen. You're not going to fool me into signing a confidentiality agreement that's going to completely destroy me down the road and fully benefit you. Nice try. You can try to sneak anything in. I'm way too smart for that. And this is not even ChatGPT telling me that. Yes, I did run it through ChatGPT, but I figured it out. And we'll get into that here in a second. Now, what is this guy trying to do now? I'm always 100 steps ahead. You're not out of your mind for seeing a control/narrative pattern. You've watched his behavior up close for a long time, and this reads like scope creep plus positioning to keep leverage going into discovery and beyond that too. That confidentiality agreement, sir, is a replacement for what I asked Judge Stacy in my protective order to basically say that any videos that are private that we exchange are for litigation use only and cannot be rebroadcast. That's all. You're trying to broaden that confidentiality agreement to protect you not only at the hearing, but more. We're going to get into that in a second here. Did you not think I was going to figure it out, sir? I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not agreeing to that. You're going to have to file a motion for that, sir, or propose your own order, and let's go hash it out in court. Okay. And even then, I've got my arguments for that. The way to keep it real and protect yourself is to treat your read as your private working theory. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bring this into the court. I'm just putting out this publicly here for, the YouTube audience to know that this guy is trying to trick me, in my opinion. And this is something that any litigant in this position, whether they're pro se or have an attorney, they would try to do this. But the other side typically would not fall for something like this. And let your actions be driven by the objective problem. His proposed language is broader than the narrow non-public video's purpose. Broad confidentiality can become a practical muzzle later. You're trying to silence me, sir. This is funny, sir. You're trying to silence me while accusing me of trying to silence you with the anti-slap. Do you see how contradicting of a person you are? How contradicting you are? And you thought I was going to fall for that? You're not agreeing to that. Absolutely not. That's the real deal, and you can act on it without needing to win an argument about his personality. I'm not questioning his personality. I already know how he is and has been. It's a pattern I've seen for over 8 years. The regulated no-nonsense move. Give me 1 second here. Just counter him with narrow terms and move on. Okay, sure. Your position's simple. Yes to confidentiality for non-public, unlisted, private video materials and preservation copies. No to catch-all categories like financials, private communications, / other sensitive info right now. Later, if those categories actually arise with mutual terms and a challenge process. Why this is the power move. It does 3 things at once. Denies him the broader control mechanism, makes you look maximally reasonable, preserves your future ability to tell your story. What you're trying to do, sir, is get me into a confidentiality agreement to effectively gag me from being able to share my story regarding what you put me through. And that's what it is. You're trying to gag me from being able to talk about, certain aspects that arise within the case that will be part of my story in a documentary or a book I may write or anything like that. You're also concerned about discovery. And you're concerned about what the public, your audience, is going to perceive. So you're going to try to internally lock that in. If you want to try to do that, you have to file it properly through the court. I'm not going to give you that at this point. I will only do that if Judge Stacy orders it and sees it fit. This is unbelievable. This guy's trying to gag me, and he's trying to do it in a sneaky way, in my opinion, by trying to, embed it into this confidentiality agreement. He tried to throw it in there in that email last night, and he didn't think that I was going to notice that. Did you really think I was going to agree to all that? We're keeping it basic regarding the private/unlisted videos. That's all that Judge Stacy said it was about. And that's it. So if I was you, if you're working on writing this thing, and hopefully you get this to me by Wednesday. Get this to me by Wednesday. I'll probably send you an email maybe tomorrow or Monday, and get this confidentiality agreement to me by Wednesday of this coming week. I initially had put out Friday, but I hadn't emailed you, so that's fine. I will email you and give you a deadline of Wednesday. I'll do that probably tomorrow. And if I don't see the document by then, at that point, I'm just going to go ahead and create it myself, and we're going to move forward. That's all. The real world label. What you're describing is narrative control through procedural leverage. Nice try, sir. In legal terms, you just call it over broad scope. And he tried to say that I was overreaching and being overbroad. All I'm asking you is to use reasonable conduct. These were just conduct requests. As far as the preservation, that is something you've got to do. The other stuff is a conduct request. And you didn't like it because me putting it in there is showing the court, Judge Stacy, that I'm trying to reasonably reach out to you through meeting and conferring with you and saying, hey, can you please stop this? This is illegal usage of my copyrighted videos, and you're going there and supporting someone that is illegally using my content as a watch party. That's all. Period. End of story. All I'm doing is creating a paper trail that's going to lead back to a hearing near you at some point, sir, and you're going to have to answer to it, right? And you can't answer to it the same way that you answer to your audience, because that's performance theater and performance bravado. It doesn't work in the court that way. And no, I was not acting in court, sir. That's the real me. That's the real me. Again, performance bravado, trying to paint me as someone that I'm not, because that's what your audience reacts and donates to. That's all you did last night, sir. One big performance. And that's all what your entire crew's been doing, for the last week or two, trying to perform, trying to get my lady Dawn involved in things. And it's just a bunch of just static chaos. It's all static. So, give me a second here. We are at 24 minutes. Hey, ODN, how are you doing? Oh, ODN, you unboycotted me. I never knew I was boycotted. I just run my stuff and people can come and go as they wish. I know you're messing with me, broski. Great stream earlier today, man. And I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you. You really, really, honestly, you sounded very grounded and very regulated. And I'm going to give you a real round of applause for that. And you know what? I'll give you a digital round of applause. 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. Correction for the record. I sent a narrow email about preservation and a narrow confidentiality concept tied to non-public videos, private/unlisted materials, and preservation copies. He replied refusing any conduct requests because there's no court order, which is his position. Fine. Yeah, we know why. He wants to continue to use bad conduct as his way of representing me to sell me to his audience for donations. We know the reason why. But he then tried to broaden the confidentiality scope to include financial records, private communications, or other sensitive information. What are you afraid of, sir? I mean, honestly, are you afraid if your stuff that could be found through discovery is gonna give your audience the wrong idea, and you don't want that, right? I mean, are you afraid of what potentially discovery could unmask here with sock accounts and DMs and all that stuff, right? And you're trying to gag me from being able to share my story if something is found through discovery? Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, you could try. Go ahead and file a motion for it. File a motion for a protective order regarding this, and let's go to a hearing, and let's see what Judge Stacy says. I'm not agreeing to an umbrella like that. Again, I am not agreeing to an umbrella like that. An umbrella is one catch-all. One thing covers everything. Silence, gag, Eli. This guy's been accusing me of trying to silence him, which I never have, and he's trying to silence me, in my opinion. I'm willing to do a narrow confidentiality agreement limited to non-public videos. If anything else ever becomes relevant later, it can be addressed later. File a motion, sir, and let's go have a hearing, and we'll address it then. You're not going to convince me or try to trick me into getting something to gag me. That's the whole update. No drama, no back and forth. If he wants to make it a back and forth, that's on him. I will continue correcting the record. That's what I'll do. My email was intentionally narrow. I wasn't trying to restrict anyone's speech. One more time, my email was intentionally narrow. I wasn't trying to restrict anyone's speech. I explicitly said he can criticize me all day long. What I addressed was conduct, preservation of materials, and participation in third-party rebroadcasts / watch parties using my copyrighted streams in real time, affecting me. That's not a speech issue. That's not a speech issue. That is not a speech issue. It is not a speech issue. It is an evidence and conduct 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 issue. I repeat myself 4 times because these people like to take it out of context. Let me be extremely clear. If he disagrees, fine. He can put that in writing and we'll handle it through normal process. File your motion, sir, for a protective order regarding financials, regarding other sensitive information, private communications that you know will be subpoenaed once we hit discovery, right? Discords and all that, right? Come on, sir. You don't have to sit here and show me your cards I've already figured it out based on your reactions and what you're trying to get here. In essence, you are showing me your cards by trying to get me to agree to this, man. Wow. But I'm not asking for a gag order. Let me repeat. But I'm not asking for a gag order, and I'm not asking him to stop lawful commentary. Talk about me all you want. Insult me all you want. You can insult my girlfriend all you want. We expect you to do that. Now, if you continue to do it repetitively, that's called harassment. We can handle that through YouTube's flagging system and also through the court at that point. It shows an ongoing pattern. But don't you ever try to silence my freedom of speech and then accuse me that I'm trying to silence yours. You are the absolute biggest hypocrite I've ever met in my life, and I've called you an intentional hypocrite because you do it as content for your audience. All you have to do is get your audience to believe that what you're saying is true or spin it in a way that makes you look good and makes me look bad, and then they pay you money. And then you get to $100, and then you call it a night, right? That's why we're in court. All right. I'm going to take a quick break because that was the beginning of the show. I'm probably going to take 2 breaks, and this is going to be about a 2-hour show. We are at 31 minutes, okay? Let's see here. Let me cue up some royalty-free YouTube music. Let me see here. All right, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for a 5, 6, 7, 8 minute break or so, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Stick around. We'll be right back. are back live. We are back live. Yeah. Ethan Mixell coming up. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here today on this very special day. It is Valentine's Day. The day of this live stream is Saturday, February 14th, 2026. And I've got my Valentine. Do you have yours? And if you don't worry. There's plenty of time for you to find your Valentine in the future. If you stick around here at the GNA, we can help you become the best version of yourself that you can be so you can attract that special someone in your life and have a Valentine by February 14th, 2027. How's that? What's better than that? Positivity rules. Positivity rules. Positivity rules. What rules? Positivity all the way. Now, I understand positivity does not work for drama groups, doesn't work for drama engagement, doesn't work for drama donations. It doesn't work for all of that. It doesn't work for outrage. But what it does is makes you a better, stronger, and more awesome person. And it's more sustainable long-term to just be who you really are instead of pretending to be something you're not just to make money on the internet. That's the truth of the matter. Anyway. All right, Ethan, I'm sorry. We're just going to have to scratch you and get right back down to business. Okay, let's continue here. Let me make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Positivity all the way. Now, I understand. Positivity does not work for drama groups, doesn't work for drama engagement, doesn't work. I understand the game out here on YouTube. I just choose to not play that game. I just don't feel right making money outrage style and making things up about people and spinning narratives way out of context. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. But anyway. All right. Now, let's get into a little brief synopsis of his stream from last night, the Defendant stream from last night. Then we're going to take a deeper dive into it after this, okay? I ran a bunch of stuff through ChatGPT, refined it on my own, and they said, yes, I've got it. And this is enough to do a serious, deep analysis. I'll treat this like litigation relevant signals, rhetorical, psychological strategy, what it actually means for you going forward. Layer 1, litigation relevant signals. Number 1, explicit refusal posture on Dawn targeting language. This is the single most important section legally. He says, and I paraphrase, if he wants to run a bunch of streams and call Dawn the B word a female dog, that he will do that. And it's his First Amendment right to do that. Yes, it is, sir. It is your First Amendment right to insult people all day, every day on the internet, on YouTube, or wherever. Are you proud of that? Does that make you proud? I mean, how can somebody be so proud of asserting their First Amendment rights to insult people on the internet? Seriously, that's what you do. You flex your First Amendment rights to insult people on the internet, because if you use your First Amendment rights in non-insulting ways, no one will watch you, no one will donate to you, right? And then you're just going to be boring as heck, right? Right? Why this matters, he publicly acknowledges receipt of your notice. Thank you for that. you already responded to the email, so I have that too. And I'm going to file it with the court at some point to put it on the docket. He is choosing to interpret it as a speech restriction. Of course, what else does he have to play for his audience? And what else does he have to try to, knock this case, out, figuratively speaking, or even literally? He's trying to basically end this case based on speech. And that alone is not going to do it because I'm not violating his speech, right? That's one aspect, defamation. There are 4 other aspects to the complaint: malicious prosecution, abuse of process, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. He is publicly announcing noncompliance with the spirit of the request. This is powerful because your letter explicitly said it was not a speech restriction. You hear that, sir? I specifically mentioned something you did not mention to your audience. I think you might have said it, but you didn't emphasize it, obviously. It's not a speech restriction. Defined targeting as contact, doxing, and directing others. His response shows he understands the notice. He rejects it. He reframes it as censorship. What else are you going to reframe it as, sir? When the truth hits you and you don't want to admit it to your audience, you have to reframe it as the opposite and flex freedom of speech, censorship. He's trying to silence me. It's all fair use. I can use all of Eli's entire catalog live all day, every day, even while he's live. And he can't do a damn thing about it because it's all fair use. I control fair use. I control the First Amendment, right? That is textbook evidence of notice received, deliberate noncompliance posture, narrative framing. Narrative framing, of course. What's new there? Courts care about notice plus response, not who is right on YouTube, sir. Number 2, admission. He received preservation request. He openly states he sent this email, and then he says that that I told him to preserve all materials. This confirms he's narrowing interpretation, not denying involvement, just redefining responsibility. Yeah, you don't want to be held accountable for your piss poor behavior that you use to create your content on YouTube and most importantly, make your money. Courts often treat this as self-serving interpretation. Number 4, financial intimidation / fee narrative. He repeatedly says that if he wins, I'm going to have to pay his lawyer fees. And am I prepared to fork over $20K? Boy, man. Wow. Posturing, man. Posturing. Wow. You really going to pay an attorney $20K to represent yourself at the motion to dismiss MTD / anti-slap? This isn't legally meaningful, but procedurally it shows he views the case primarily as leverage. He's framing risk for audience and opponent. He's trying to psychologically deter. Courts don't care about this talk, but it is useful for motive narrative, intent framing, optics if needed later. Number 5, encouraging audience reporting behavior. He says to his audience that, there's a report button on YouTube and that they can flag me for misinformation. Okay? On his stream, and I paraphrase, he mentioned that every time that I talk about dysregulation, that I can be flagged for misinformation. I'm stating an observable opinion. And that's not a diagnosis. That's an observable behavior. So you can flag your hearts out, but you already know that, and you're just posturing for your audience. You're trying to look all tough, sir. Ooh. This is subtle but important. It's a form of audience mobilization, indirect platform pressure. Yeah, he didn't really like that email he got from me yesterday because he knows it's just another paper trail, digital paper trail, back to a hearing that at some point he's going to have to answer to in front of Judge Stacy, right? Not illegal, but useful for showing ongoing adversarial conduct, attempt to influence platform outcomes. Of course, this guy would love to get me shut down. This guy would love to see me suffer. I honestly really believe at this point, this guy wants to see me suffer. In my opinion, of course. Layer 2, psychological rhetorical map, deep. This stream is not about the law. So his stream was not about the law. It was about audience stabilization after my email. What triggered him? Your preservation email. It triggered you, huh, sir? But you got to stay cool, calm, and collected and somewhat composed. So it's not, affecting you in the court case, and it's not affecting you with the audience. You're trying to convince that you're this, Messiah out here, and I'm some just insecure POS loser, broke, all this stuff. We're going to get to that, sir. You were really, really triggered last night. You were. And you were trying to contain yourself. You were trying to stabilize yourself, or you were trying to regulate yourself, sir, and self-soothing yourself in real time in front of your audience by flipping the narrative like you always do, right? Yeah, babe. I mean, you don't need to say that. I mean, babe, honestly, that's up to you. I don't think you are a B word. I think anyone can be a mean person at times, but she's owning it there. She's just having fun with it. That's all. 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. Hey, ODN. Yes, everyone is nice. Welcome back. Hello, Don. Says ODN. Oh, that was earlier. Okay. He spends a huge portion reading it, mocking it, reinterpreting it. That's why I did this, to correct the record. That means it hit, it mattered, it disrupted his control narrative. His main emotional objectives: number 1, reassert independence. Repeated thing: I do what I want. I do what I want. You can't tell me what to do. I am the law. I am the copyright department. I am the defamation department in the civil courts. I own the whole system. I run the system. I do what I want to do because I control everything. I make the law. I am the law. I do what I want. I do what I want. You can't control me. You can't control me. First Amendment. First Amendment. Everything I do is shielded by the First Amendment. And, don't forget about fair use copyright law. Section 107 of U.S. copyright law. It protects me. It protects me. It's like an all-inclusive shield against that. I'm not going to say what he calls me. The C word, right? Right. This isn't legal reasoning. It is identity defense. Your email challenged his autonomy, his perceived dominance. Dude, you are not dominant at all. You are a massive crap talker. Let's call you that. You're a crap talker. You're a massive performer, performance bravado, and you do it just to keep the audience around and siphon donations at the expense of my name and likeness. You continue to do it, man. It's very obvious, right? So the stream is a psychological reset. Number 2, convert legal notice to entertainment. When you can't win on the merits, sir, you make it entertainment and then you flip it around, right? He turns legal communication if his audience believes that, then his hesitance equals heroic. Your notice equals tyrannical. This is narrative inversion. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Got it. Number 4, keep conflict alive for content fuel. Absolutely, you're doing whatever you can. You and other people that you work in concert with or are part of your group, like other third-party creators that are in your group and share the same exact audience. That's all you guys have been doing all week, right? And the previous week as well. He explicitly links you to revenue. He says, and I paraphrase, that I'm the only thing that gets me attention. And he says that I have nothing without him and his group, without the haters. And that I know that by now. He says that it's been 8 years. And then I whine, but it's the only thing that gets attention for me. And he says I know it to be true. He doesn't care what kind of mental blocks I may have about the situation. He knows this is the only thing I have that gets me attention. He says it's why I brag when I get 50 people on my live streams. You know, he's like, they're all here to watch me, see? And then he continues to reinforce that I don't realize they're only there because they think I'm a clown, they think I'm a joke, and that's why he feels they're watching. He keeps saying I'm the butt of the joke, but I don't care as long as I'm getting attention. And then he calls me, he says, because I'm a narcissist, and narcissists don't care whether the attention is positive or negative. In your case, that especially applies. This is projection. But more importantly, it reveals the conflict itself is central to his channel economy. The conflict itself is central to your channel economy, sir. You know it. Why don't you admit it? Admit that I am the one. I am the one that you use to open up your audience's pocketbook. In my opinion, that's what's going on. He needs the narrative alive. You need the Eli narrative alive, sir. That explains the intensity. Layer 3, what this means strategically for you. Give me a second here. This did not transfer over to the PDF. Give me a second. We are on page 9. Let me see here. Let me see. Okay, I missed one part in the previous section here. Give me a second. So he turns legal communication into a comedy segment. Why? Because humor neutralizes authority. Audience laughter restores status. Mockery prevents appearing defensive. Classic rhetorical defense. 3, frame you as obsessive controller. He repeatedly pushes, you want to control chat boxes, you want to control speech, you want to control Bill. This is strategic. So I already got the rest of that, and now we're good. Now, for layer 3, what this means strategically for you, your email worked exactly as intended. It achieved documented notice, documented acknowledgement, and documented rejection posture. That's the trifecta. If you ever need one clean exhibit, use segment. He acknowledges receiving preservation notice and mocks it. Why? Shows notice, shows comprehension, shows reaction, That's the legally valuable part. Everything else is audience theater. He knows it. Real bottom line interpretation. Let me see here. This stream is not defiance of the court, not meaningful legal argument. It is a defensive identity response, audience reassurance performance, content monetization episode. Your email forced him to explain himself publicly, justify behavior, reveal mindset. That's a strategic win. Thank you, sir. Thank you for showing me exactly where you're at. That wasn't the intention of my email, but you just react to everything. You cannot keep anything private, right? Now, the emails, they're basically, they're a part of the case, and they're not technically confidential. They're technically not confidential, unless we get that, put through the court in a confidentiality agreement or a court order, but we're not there. It's not the point that you shared what was in the email. It's the point that you just couldn't ignore it and handle it in court. You had to make it a part of your YouTube content because you needed it to regulate yourself. You also needed it to make money off of my name and likeness again, and this court case as well. I'm just correcting the record. That's all I'm doing. Let me see here. We're at 1 hour and 4 minutes. All right. Now, here's what's going on structurally underneath all the noise. You had a bunch of creators, third-party creators within the defendants group all week, or the last maybe 7 to 10 days, just trying to get the Eli content engine, monetization engine going again, right? Your community post did 3 things at once, and that's why it worked. So I made a community posting pretty much professionally saying that a stream happened yesterday and it was put to private and not re-uploaded to Rumble. And then it ended up getting a title change, and the exact same stream unedited came back public again this morning. Okay. On a channel that was just recently removed from the YouTube partner program 3 or 4 days ago. And then they're doing this very, very risky content during a time where their channel is being watched more closely by YouTube's team, by the what do you call it? I can't remember. The trust and safety team. The trust and safety team is what they call it. Okay. Your post wasn't aggressive. It was procedural and confident. That matters because it removed their weekend memory hole discomfort. The moment you publicly say I screen recorded plus I downloaded before private, you're signaling the record exists regardless of platform toggles. So you can go private, unlisted, public, whatever. I was going to say members only, but you don't have that anymore because you were demonetized, removed from the YouTube partner program. Converted a platform action into an optics disadvantage for them. Whether the private toggle was routine or not, your message reframed it as nothing disappears anymore. That's a deterrence signal. Stayed upbeat. And then I also added this. The Friday the 13th/Valentine's framing is subtle psychological judo. You're not anxious. You're not pleading. You're not activated. You're implying momentum. That combination is hard for them to counter without looking reactive. A third-party creator's private to public flip plus title change is a classic reaction hunt loop. The sequence you describe is very telling. Initial title invoked Sandra, a real-world person in your organization. She's a G&A executive. Then she didn't really talk too much about Sandra, just insulted her for a bit and moved on to other things. So she tried to use that as a hook to get people there, right? This was never really about Sandra. This was just about getting people there using like a clickbaity title and trying to use it as a hook. And I paraphrase, she said something like this was going to be a little different initially than what it turned out to be. And then she thanked Flex for making it different because of what Mr. Flex supposedly did. And so Sandra gets reprieve a little bit. Then the replay goes private. Then the next morning it comes back public with a new title. Like, new lolcow, this is paraphrased, new lolcow, and that new lolcow is Flex. Mr. Flex. Mr. Flex, you're now the new lolcow of that third-party creator that shall remain nameless here. I know you haven't had the kindest words to say about her. I'm not going to be insulting, but yeah, I mean, to me, this is a back and forth between the people that she's dealing with and other people. That's a back and forth. With me, this is about me just wanting to run my business, and I just want these people to leave me alone. That pattern reads like, I want a clean hook that generates engagement, and I'm testing which hook bites. Of course, you use clickbait. That's what you all do. If Sandra didn't ignite, she pivots to a more generic insult label, lolcow, and a fresh target marker, Mr. Flex. Because the goal isn't substance. It is a respark to try to re-engage the outrage and the fuel, right? Also, going private and then public again is useful to her, even if nothing nefarious happened, because it creates ambiguity in conversation. Your post denied her the ambiguity advantage by saying, doesn't matter, it's preserved. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. If I didn't make a posting, would she have put it back to public? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't matter. All she's going to do is the opposite of what she thinks we're going to do, just to try to get more attention. Anything we state that's reasonable, she'll flip it to being unreasonable, just to get attention and keep it going her way. Number 3, her non-parties have no duty. Share is legal theater serving an emotional goal. Her caption, unless we're defendants, we don't need to preserve anything at all. It's not really aimed at court. It's aimed at audience reassurance. We're safe. He can't touch us. Moral reframing. He's the unreasonable one. Provocation. Say something that tempts him into over-responding. The tell is that it is an overbroad performative statement in a social media share, not a careful, bounded statement. It is theater for identity and control, not accuracy. Okay. Let's see here. Number 4, the Kit C. Kit C is a channel. I'm not going to mention the full last name. The Kit C post is a coordinated reframing attempt. Archiving equals surveillance. Kit C's ChatGPT write-up is rhetorically sophisticated in one way. It tries to swap the labels. Instead of your frame being, I preserved evidence of platform toggling / disappearing replay / rebroadcast patterns, they want the audience to absorb He's obsessively monitoring and stockpiling other creators. Key move, they attack your motive and tone, not your facts. They repeatedly use terms like performance, narrative positioning, surveillance, deterrence, clip deployment. That's a deliberate inoculation strategy. If you ever later show receipts, they want the audience preloaded with, that's just his obsession. Okay, whatever. Important nuance. They also try to create a trap about whose material. They say he captured and retained another creator's material, not his own. I'm preserving evidence for court. That's a crafted wedge. They're trying to force you into either over-explaining, which looks defensive, or showing/playing their content, which feeds their reach. I never do that. They'll file copyrights on me out of spite. Or making a broad legal claim, which they'll clip and mock. Well, they're going to do that anyway, so who cares? This is why your best posture stays minimal, factual, bounded. Yeah. It's pretty boring, but it's true. Number 5, the comments section tells you the engagement engine is sputtering, like a sputtering car running out of gas. Look at the comments you pasted. They're repetitive. Delusions. Get a lawyer. No one cares. Idiot. They're not information dense. No new facts, no timestamps, no specifics. They're identity/tribe reinforcement, not debate. That usually means one of two things. 1, the active core is small and cycling the same lines. That's exactly what it is. Or 2, they're trying to keep the vibe alive even though novelty is gone. Oh, this has been played out for years. Either way, it supports your read that the cycle is close to dead. Yes, it is. Also, the third party sharing Kit C the right way. Her comment plus Kit C gets engagement is basically resource triage. If her own posts don't pull, she has to outsource the Spark to sock ecosystem posts that still get a trickle of interaction. A trickle of interaction. All right. Number 6, the Defendant's $100 pattern is a creator economics tell, and it fits your observations. Your description. Run streams until he hits $100, then winds down. If it's not trending there within an hour, he cuts early. Is consistent with a simple incentive model. He's not optimizing for community. One more time. He's not optimizing for community. He's optimizing for short horizon cash yield. He's optimizing for short horizon cash yield. Your name/likeness functions as the conversion event. When conversion threshold hits, motivation drops. So you feel it out. And if people don't start donating at the level where you think it'll be worthy for you to spend an hour and a half or 2 hours, and you're not going to get at least $100, you wind down. And then you whine about it. We've seen it. I've seen it many times when you're at maybe $5 or $10 or no donations for like the first 45 minutes or an hour. You get really demotivated, and then you start to, get triggered, and then you start to donation beg, and you've accused me of all that, yet you do it all the time. Even if the exact number isn't always $100, the behavioral pattern you're describing is content as cash extraction cycle, not as a long-term show. How fast can I make a quick hundo and then exit? But here's the thing. There have been some shows where people keep paying him. So he's been on for 2 or 3 hours making $300-400. If he's not making on average, I'd say $50 to $75 an hour, he's done. That's what I think is going on. And I've noticed his shows lately have been an hour and a half or less, right? So if you take $100, right, and you look at it over what, 90 minutes, I mean, you're literally looking at probably what, around $75 an hour. That his going rate, I would say his target number is about $75 an hour, but minimum $100 per show. And if he makes $100 in like an hour and a half or less, he's good. If donations keep coming in, he keeps going. And once he feels them stopping, then he stops. That's my opinion. That's also why clickbait / insult titles matter so much to him. Those are revenue levers, not storytelling. Yeah, his titles have been garbage lately, in my opinion. They're recycled titles that basically are very short, and they're basically trying to lead his audience to believe that something big happened or something is coming or whatever, right? Number 7, your stream versus his stream. Different audience physics, not a value judgment. His title, CUCK Bust, is designed for outrage clicks and drama tourists. It will often win raw views in the short run because it is a sharper hook. Your title, Dawn is one of the best things that's ever happened to me, is relationship and substance. It tends to build trust and return viewers even when it doesn't spike views immediately. That's true. And you know what? It didn't matter because I did that show for my lady and for the GNA and for the people that really care about us. The chat detail you shared is important. 20 to 30 viewers average, but only a few chatting. Don, Tia, Lewis. That's not failure. That's a regulated room. Regulated room. Are you going to flag me for saying that my room is regulated? My chat room is normal and not full of drama and not violating the terms of service? Go ahead and flag me for that. It's all good. Many healthy streams have lots of lurkers and few talkers, especially when the vibe is reflective rather than combative. Your whole entire chat is combative. You keep them in outrage because that's what gets them to donate, right? Yeah. Okay. Number 8, what this all implies strategically, the why now. Putting it together, your public posture is increasingly calm, procedural, documented, forward-moving. Their posture is increasingly title swaps, reframes, outsourced sock engagement. Oh my God, how many socks do they have? Legalish slogans. Legalish slogans. Legalish slogans. Legalish slogans. Yeah, man, you're trying to sound like a legal expert to an audience that doesn't understand the law, and then they try to pretend like they do. Like he and his audience tries to pretend like they understand the law. That's the shape of a system losing traction. When substance isn't working, it becomes narrative attacks about the act of documenting itself. All right. So I'm going to take another break here and get to the third and final part of the show. I've gotten through 14 out of 23 pages here. And this won't take too terribly long when I get back. Probably another 30 to 45 minutes, and I will have time for a walk. So all right. Let me queue up some royalty-free YouTube music. Feel free to chat in the chat. The chat's been rather quiet. I think people are just listening intently here. Everyone's just listening intently. We've got 29 people here. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, give me a second here. Okay. All right. Music is all queued up. Music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for another few minutes or so, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Stick around. We'll be right back. All right. Hello, welcome back. All right. Welcome back to the third and final part of Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here today. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. It's Saturday, February 14th, 2026. I hope you're all having a great day. I know that today, and not a lot of people are on YouTube. They're spending time with their significant other. Mine is here. We're going to spend time later tonight. This was a planned show. We have a planned live walk coming up shortly after this stream ends here on GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development. It's going to be a nice, cool, calm, and collected walk. No drama. No drama. We're not into drama here, despite what some other people may believe. That's on them. They're all entitled to their opinions, just like we are, right? All right. Let's just scratch it and get right back down to business. All right. All right. Below are the distinct situations / moves embedded in the excerpt pulled from the transcript of the defendant's live stream, with what's happening underneath each one. And we're going to treat the excerpt as the defendant narrating / reacting on stream, paraphrased obviously, and using it as a springboard for monetized commentary. That's what you do, sir. You use it as a springboard for monetized commentary. You know, sir, I've heard you many times call yourself a certain type of ethnicity / religion, right? And you make fun of it. I'm not sure if that's your actual religion or your ethnicity, or you're just playing a joke. I'm not going to say it, but you call yourself, I'm not even going to say the first letter. People can figure it out. I love everyone. It doesn't matter, But anyway, it's all for money. It's all for money. That's all he cares about is money, no matter how he can get it. Situation number 1, deliberate misnaming and plus plaintiff, planner, plantain, routine. What he does, he intentionally mangles the word plaintiff into a running gag. What's going on? It is a dehumanization / minimization tactic, turning the plaintiff into a joke so the audience processes you plus the case as unserious. It also functions as deflection insurance. If anyone asks, why won't you address the actual substance, he can retreat it to its comedy. Yeah, why don't you address the actual substance ever, sir? Because it doesn't fit your narrative. It doesn't fit your monetization strategy with your audience. Do you not think that what matters more is what happens in court, not what happens on YouTube? Situation 2. The Commandeer Bills channel / I own it strawman. What he does, he exaggerates your preservation request into, I have to take Bill's channel over. Strawman. What's going on? This is classic absurdist strawmanning to make your request look irrational. My request is proper, and it's procedurally proper, and it's what anyone in my situation would have done. It is designed to infect the audience's baseline. Before they even hear the real request, they've already laughed at a cartoon version of it. That's what this guy does. He turns everything into a cartoon, even many times accusing me of embezzling as a fact, and then he put it into a cartoon and tried to use parody to shield himself from defamation. That's what he does. He tries to shield everything through fair use, First Amendment, comedy, parody, all that, right? It's very self-soothing for him. Situation number 3, preserve everything if I'm chatting everywhere. Escalation. What he does, he frames your request that he must preserve everything anytime he's in a chat box. What's going on? He's trying to reframe a bounded request, rebroadcast / preservation categories into total surveillance. This isn't about legal accuracy. It's about changing the emotional meaning of your message from procedural preservation to Eli is controlling my life. I want nothing to do with your life, sir, to be honest with you. And that's it. Situation 4, catch-22. If you strike me, how can I preserve? Well, here's the thing, sir. You have the paid version of StreamYard, which automatically records a backup. So don't give me that garbage. And don't feed your I can't even talk. Don't feed your chat garbage when you have backup copies to everything, just like I do. Jeez. But it sounds really good to say, well, you know what? If he strikes me and takes me down, then how can I preserve the evidence? Well, you still have the video. The chat would be gone. But do you not think I would have already grabbed the chat before DMCAing you to take you down if I needed to? What's going on? This is a rhetorical shield. It sets up a future excuse I couldn't preserve because, while also painting you as unreasonable. The only unreasonable person is him. It's obvious. He's blending two different concepts. A, his obligation to preserve what he controls, and B, platform availability of a video. Preservation can be satisfied by local copies that are automatically backed up on your paid StreamYard plan, sir. Everyone knows that. Now, I don't pay for StreamYard, but I know that's included in the paid plan that anyone has. I use OBS. It's free and better, but that's just me. Preservation can be satisfied by local copies, records, exports, screenshots, logs, which he implicitly admits he can do when he says you're demanding preservation. Yeah, you understood that. You have a duty to preserve. You understand that. You've told me that before. I already knew that. Now I'm just telling you back the same thing. But you're telling your audience a completely different thing because that's what you need to do to get donations. Situation 5, I have every intent to follow the law, but it's not an order. Yeah, of course. You want to continue insulting people and harassing people on YouTube as your content engine to make money. And while most of it is protected First Amendment speech, you have crossed the lines into defamation, which is why we're in court. You're not being sued for insults, sir. You're being sued for defamation. You're being sued for malicious prosecution. You're being sued for abuse of process. You're being sued for intentional infliction of emotional distress. And soon, you're going to be sued for massive, massive copyright infringement. What he does, he performs compliance virtue. I follow law while dismissing your request as non-binding. What's going on? This is optics posture. He wants to look reasonable to the public and to any later clip review while still rejecting your framing. It is also a status play. I only do what a judge orders. You have no authority. That primes his audience to view you as illegitimate. Well, what he's really doing is he's basically saying that I don't want to control my behavior. I don't want to be a reasonable, decent person that is regulated and behaving. I'm going to continue to stay dysregulated, and I'm going to continue behaving erratically as my content until a judge tells me otherwise. So even if what you're doing for the most part is protected speech and not harassment, some of it is. That's why you're being sued. You're being sued for what is defamation, harassment, and the other stuff. But the rest of the stuff, the insults and all that, does that make you feel good to be that kind of person? Do you really feel that way about the people you insult, or are you just pretending to insult them to trick your audience into giving you their money? Like, what is it? Why don't you talk about that? Why don't you do a stream full of substance for once? How about your next stream? Are you capable of doing a stream of substance where you answer these actual questions here, or are you going to ignore them? I bet you anything you ignore these questions or you spin them out of context, right? You're not going to answer these questions because they basically disrupt your money-making strategy. That's it. Situation 6, overreach as the master narrative label. What he does, repeats classic overreach as a refrain. What's going on? He's not arguing specifics. He's conditioning a label. Repetition is the point. Once overreach becomes the audience's default lens, your factual statements get heard as control attempts. Situation 7, possession, control, custody lecture, selective legalism. What he does, he correctly invokes custody control concepts in the abstract and uses them to claim zero obligation. What's going on? This is legal theater with a kernel of truth used as a blunt weapon. The move is take a real principle, stretch it into a total exemption, and claim victory. He's also doing audience education for later. If he's challenged about records, he can say custody control and sound procedural. Sounding one way and being one way is a totally different thing. What works online doesn't work in court. Situation 8, he named you in it, Bill. Full name, analytics, monetization. Well, it's an email, and this is all part of the case. We have to use real names in this instance, sir. What he does, he calls out that you reference third-party items like analytics/monetization. What's going on? He's trying to frame you as attempting to reach into other people's business records. That's not true at all. That helps him paint you as litigious plus invasive, even if your real point is preservation around rebroadcasting/coordination patterns. Situation 9. This is evidence for his upcoming hearing, is what he said. What he does, he claims your email itself becomes evidence that you're trying to control non-parties. What's going on? This is important. It shows he views your procedural move as strategic pressure, not a misunderstanding. He's also pre-selling a court outcome to the audience. This will help me, which keeps donations coming. He's basically stating that I am trying to silence his freedom of speech when this is not about speech. It is about conduct, and he doesn't like that I'm trying to hold him accountable for very poor conduct that's unlawful and affecting my reputation. Situation 10. Copyright has nothing to do with this case. Well, for the most part, it doesn't. It's the commercial exploitation is a part of the civil case. The actual copyright stuff will be handled in federal court, sir. What he does, he insists copyright is separate, so your copyright language is irrelevant. What's going on? He's trying to compartmentalize. You can't talk about copyright in this case because it complicates his content model, rebroadcast/watch parties. Even if different causes of action live in different cases, the conduct can still be relevant as context, motive, pattern. And he knows that's dangerous for him, so he tries to wall it off. You didn't like that email, sir, because it's just another part of the accountability I'm, holding you accountable on. That's the way you do it. Situation 11, First Amendment flex and why he overplays it. He always overplays the First Amendment. What he does, he says he can give lawful commentary whenever the hell he wants and dares me to ask the judge. Why would I ask a stupid question like that? I already know that, and you know that I know that. And I know that you know that. This is performance bravado. What's going on? This is identity protection. He wants his audience to experience him as untouchable. He uses the First Amendment like a brand shield against criticism of conduct, rebroadcasting, targeting, coordination. I mentioned that earlier. He's trying to use the First Amendment to shield him from things that don't involve speech. Conduct and speech, sir, are two different things. We're in court because of your conduct. That's what a civil case is all about, and you know that. Notice the pattern. Whenever you narrow to conduct, he expands to speech because speech is his safest rhetorical ground. Let me say that again. I just said it in other words before that. Notice the pattern. Whenever you narrow it to conduct, He expands the speech because speech is his safest rhetorical ground. He knows his conduct is actionable, right? So he goes back to, it's all protected under the First Amendment. The First Amendment is not absolute, sir. Situation 12, Dawn's section, denial plus then escalation into, I can call her the B word, the female dog, right? What he does, 1, denies ever contacting, encouraging contact. I don't think he's ever contacted Dawn. That was never insinuated. And when you send an email trying to, request, some conduct to be better, sometimes you put things in there that can be misinterpreted, and you can try to write it as best as possible, but some people will misinterpret it. Some will just do it on purpose as their content, like he does. 2, then loudly asserts the right to insult her. I can call Dawn a B word in his chats, streams, wherever, right? Sure, you can. What kind of a person does that make you? And you've come out and said you're a POS. Is that justifying your behavior because you like the money that comes with it? So in essence, you're saying that I make money insulting people on the internet. How about you come out and be truthful and say, I make money insulting and sometimes defaming and harassing people on the internet? Why won't you tell us the truth? What's going on? This is a tell. He cannot stay in the lane of, I don't do targeting. He pivots to permission to harass rhetoric because it energizes his base and drives donations. Listen carefully, sir. I know your game. You know your game, and this is why you're in court. This is a tell. He cannot stay in the lane of, I don't do targeting. He pivots to permission to harass rhetoric because it energizes his base and drives donations. Strategically, he's trying to redefine the issue from targeting/coordination into you're trying to censor my insults. I'm not trying to censor your insults, sir. I'm saying that your behavior sucks because of it. Your behavior is preposterous. And honestly, I think people have gotten really tired of your insulting content because it's all repetitive. And insulting people, even if you change it up with different people, it's still not a good look, man. Situation 13, aggressive profanity plus delusional shit plus you doxed her. What he does, he escalates emotionally, accuses you of doxing first, uses contempt language. If he's talking about Dawn there, Dawn is a public figure. Her name is on the podcast, Dawn Leisurewood. That's my girlfriend. She's my domestic partner and my future wife-to-be. So I don't know. I don't know why he would even consider that doxing. Accuses me of doxing first. Like, I don't get it. Does he think that me bringing my lady onto my channel and running a business together is doxing? People run channels together all the time. He calls it doxing because the narrative works better for his audience, right? He's saying, look, I've got my girlfriend HB, and she's got her channel HB, and she only comes on every now and then, audio only, and never says her real name. If that's the way that you want to live your life, sir, and you want to keep your lady private like that, that's on you. Just because I work with mine and she's happy about it doesn't mean I'm doxing her. It's not doxing, and you know it. This is just, a play on his audience. I would never do to my lady what Eli has done to Dawn. What have I done to her? Her and I are creating something great here. There are many couples running channels together. Are they all doxing each other? So are you saying that other men that run channels with their women, their wives or girlfriends, are you accusing them of doxing their wives or girlfriends as well? Why don't you be a little more clear Because your content, sir, never, ever, ever speaks on the merits. All you do is flip it based on whatever incentivizes you the most. That's all. You never, ever, ever speak on the merits of any issue, sir. You can't. You'd put yourself out of business. You know it. What's going on? This is race performance for engagement. It also creates a moral reversal. If he can convince the audience you did it first, then anything he does feels retaliatory rather than initiative. This guy is a world-class manipulator, and he can manipulate a lot of people, and he has, but he can't manipulate me, and that's what drives him crazy. This guy has tried to manipulate myself. In my opinion, I've said it before, he's tried to manipulate the court, and he realizes now he can't do that, right? He has always tried to manipulate his way out of any situation like this, and for the most part, he's been successful, and for the first time, he's dealing with me and doesn't like the fact that I cannot be manipulated. Situation 14, he plays MJ's clip, highly inflammatory, and endorses it. Good job, sir. I thought you didn't like MJ, but when MJ talks shit about my woman, then you endorse it, right? Yeah. What he does, he plays a third-party attack video about Dawn and then says he's not wrong, calls it good roasting, urges people to subscribe. So in essence, you have no problem publicly attacking my girlfriend, right? While at the same time trying to say, oh, my girlfriend is the best and you know, blah, 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 blah. What do you think about that, HB? What do you think about your man publicly attacking my lady through the video of some guy he really doesn't care about? But now he cares about the guy, MJ, because he's talking smack about my lady. You people are the weirdest people I've ever come across. You people are so desperate to keep this whole thing going. It's just pathetic. It's so pathetic. You're every single one of you in that group, in my opinion, is purely pathetic. All of you. None of you excluded. Period. Okay? What's going on? This is the most operationally important segment. He's acting like a distribution node for third-party harassment content, not merely independent commentary. He also uses fair use commentary as a magic phrase to launder a toxic segment into legal. He's reinforcing the ecosystem. Make more of this, it works. Okay, make more of stuff. Make more of those things that we're going to flag. Because see, here's the thing, sir. Let's be real about this. You're all getting flagged. I'm flagging all the stuff that's flag worthy, and so are other people over here. Just like you guys do that to us, right? The difference is we're not violating the terms of service. And what's happening? One of your friends got removed from the YouTube partner program. Why don't you talk about that? Why don't you talk about that? Because now all of a sudden you're pretending to be friends with her because she's helping you with this court case and with YouTube optics as well. Come on, man. Come on, man. Situation 15, if you copyright strike, you spoil evidence. And we talked about this earlier. What he does, he threatens if you strike him, you're spoiling evidence. What's going on? This is pre-bunking and reverse blame. He's trying to deter enforcement by turning enforcement into misconduct. It is also a donation engine. It keeps the drama narrative alive. Eli's trying to silence me. No one's trying to silence you, sir. No one is trying to silence you, sir. And you know that. That's just how you're playing it off to your audience. If you can lead your audience to believe that people are trying to hurt you, and if you cry like a big baby like you always do, then they're going to believe you and donate to you, right? That's so pathetic, man. You and your audience, man, honestly, it's just pathetic. And it's been played out. And the fuel of that content engine is sputtering. Sput, 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 sput. Situation 16. Babe, start getting in your quote right now, please. Oh, thank you. And Dana, if you come around a little more often, then we can get you a mod wrench here eventually. I appreciate you. I haven't been even fighting back, Dana, that which you know. All I'm doing is correcting the record. I mean, if you want to call it fighting back, and I understand, I get it. Respectfully, I get it. But this is more correcting the record and just showing people, how much nonsense this is. But thank you so much for being here. We thank you for your support, Dana. Yes, absolutely. Situation 16, donation interruption plus thank you for the $25 plus studio bits. What he does, he breaks to read donations and runs comedy bits. What's going on? This is not incidental. It shows the stream is monetization first, with your name/case as the content substrate. The bits function as emotional regulation for the chat. They keep the audience laughing and donating rather than thinking. So basically, he's occupying the audience with thank you for the $25, and then he plays these emotionally charging, I'm in the money, and he does all that emotionally charged up stuff. He knows what he's doing. He's keeping his audience constantly emotionally charged up, so they never get a chance to really soak in the substance of what's really happening compared to what he's saying, or compared to what he's saying. Situation 17, Eli performed in court / regulated performance, jealousy cue. I didn't perform in court. I was being myself. I'm a good person. I don't have to prove that to you or anyone. Okay? I don't perform in court. I go to court and I present my case and I follow the rules of the court. That's called procedure, sir. That's called procedure. I'm procedurally proper. Out here on YouTube, I try to stay as calm as possible. If I want to elevate my voice a bit and not be as proper, that's my choice. That's my freedom of speech. In court, I behave in the ways that the court wants me to behave. And I'd like to think I typically behave in those decent ways in all aspects of life. But sir, whatever you want to present to your audience, go right the fuck ahead. You're already doing it. You know what I mean? What he does, he says you did a nice guy performance in court. He's irritated. The judge said both parties were professional. No, you were on your best behavior I've ever seen, sir. In the 8+ years I've known you, you realize that if you weren't on your best behavior, in that hearing, it would have been really bad. And you tried to label that hearing as not a win for either one of us. It wasn't a win. Now, was it a favorable outcome for me? Yes, because you didn't get sanctions on me. Was it dismissed without prejudice? Was it denied without prejudice? Yeah, you can refile again down the road. Then do it. Like, instead of you talking and running your mouth, file the paperwork. Do in the court what you're trying to use as your content on YouTube. But you're not going to get sanctions on me because I didn't spoil evidence. You know it. You used that as your content all this time. That's why you even filed those papers and then filed for this hearing or you requested a hearing for this. What's going on? He's losing his favorite contrast narrative. I'm the reasonable one. He's unhinged. You don't like the fact that people are seeing the difference in contrast between you and I. Even Dana's seeing that now. Thank you, babe. 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. I'll get to your quote in just a few more here. So he's losing his favorite contrast narrative. I'm the reasonable one. He's unhinged. He's calling me unhinged. So he pivots to he only acts regulated in court to keep his audience believing your composure is fake. Well, your audience can believe whatever the heck they want. I don't care. What matters is what Judge Stacy believes and who's telling the truth. And I'm being truthful. 32 in the box. Thank you so much for being here on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day again to everyone. Boo-doop, boop, boo-doop, boo-doop, boo. Ba-dum-bum, bum-bum, ba-dum-bum. Situation 18. Projection loop. You can't go a minute without this. It's your life. What he does, he accuses you of obsession while he is streaming about you for money. So you're accusing me of being obsessed while you constantly stream about me, my name, my likeness. You used my content again last night. Whatever. While you're streaming about me for money, you're calling me obsessed, which is what I'm trying to say. What's going on? This is projection plus inversion. He needs the audience to believe you are the obsessed one because his own business model looks cynical if the audience recognizes he profits from keeping you central. Well, I think they already know that, which makes it worse because they already know that's his content model. They're not dumb. They're not dumb. Or at least I hope they're not that dumb. Situation 19. He says he never promised sanctions. So he's backpedaling and he's saying that I put words in his mouth. He was playing part of my stream and reacting to it. What he does, he denies prior I'll get sanctions style chest thumping. Reframes as I said you could get sanctioned. No, you said I'm gonna get sanctioned. Would you like me to go back and find those clips? I'm not gonna do it. I just want you to know I have the clips. And I don't care about having to prove this in court. This is about YouTube optics. You want to mess with my YouTube optics? Just tell me. Tell me to furnish the proof that you lied here. You did promise sanctions. And I will get the clip if I have to. I don't want to. I don't want to waste my time on that. But you know that. What's going on? This is reputation management after losing at the hearing. Well, ChatGPT thinks you lost at the hearing. Well, I don't think they think you lost at the hearing. They're saying that you didn't get your sanctions on me. So they're even ChatGPT is considering it a loss. He's trying to memory hole past certainty and replace it with, I was always cautious. So he looks credible again. A lot of the things this guy has promised his audience doesn't come true. Then he has to backpedal and then try to reframe and pray to God they don't call him out on it or don't remember what was initially said. They remember. They all remember. You also didn't get your way with the January 9th date that you all thought you were going to get your way on, right? Situation 20. You lost 2 times. Your other cases, you paid $1,000. Why do you keep going back to that? That's all over and done with. Are you triggered, sir? Are you triggered and trying to trigger me by throwing stuff in my face that I've already taken care of and moved past? Doesn't upset me, sir. It makes you look like you're reaching because you're triggered. You're really massively triggered, sir. Put a 1 in the chat if you think the defendant is massively triggered and he's trying to not show it. He's trying so hard to not show it. And I know he's watching me right now, even though he's probably trying to lead us to believe that he's spending time with his internet girlfriend. What he does, he broadens into unrelated losses and personal history. What's going on? This is topic flooding. When pinned on a specific issue, preservation request, he expands into a swamp of claims, so nothing can be cleanly refuted live. It also keeps the audience emotionally convinced even without specifics. Give me a second here. Let me check out the chat. Okay, we're still good. Situation 21, get a job, broke, mommy's wealth, mortgage, financial humiliation track. Why do you keep talking about that? You yourself have said you live at home with your parents, and you said you're paying into the house you're living at, which is your mom and dad's house, right? So I'm not going to question you on whether that's true or not. If that's how you want to live your life, that's on you. Why do you keep saying get a job? How do you not know that I don't have a job or this isn't my job? How do you know how I make my money or where it comes from? How do you know if I'm broke or not? How do you know if my mommy's wealth matters here or not? How do you know about my mortgage or our mortgage? How do you know about all this stuff? Can you prove it, or are you talking out of your ass? I'm not triggered, sir. I'm just showing you how ridiculous you're coming off. What he does, he mocks your finances, insinuates dependence, speculates about your mother, calls you broke, questions mortgage costs. That's all noise, man. You're triggered. Put a 1 in the chat if you think he's triggered. TS says 1. What's going on? This is his alternate monetization lane. If legal talk gets boring, he goes to humiliation content to keep donations flowing. It's also a control attempt. If he can destabilize you emotionally, he can provoke reactive statements he can clip. Not going to happen. Good luck, sir. Situation 22, extortion. $500 to drop copyright. That was a clip from a stream that he was on and I was on. I think it was another guy named Charles F. Gray was on. And I said something like that back then. That was, 6 years ago? You're still stuck on that? Okay. You want to use that in court, sir? Do what you got to do. That has nothing to do with this. What he does, he claims you tried to extort $500 to drop a copyright. Oh, yeah, I filed a copyright takedown on him, and he wanted me to retract it. That's what it was. And jokingly, I was saying, give me $500 to drop it. You've already cost me enough already by commercially exploiting me. Dude, continue to play on the nonsense of years ago. You're living in the past, man. You're so stuck on all the past because you know I've bettered myself, and I'm proud that I've bettered myself compared to how I used to react and behave out here. It wasn't intentional. I just didn't know how to deal with you guys back then. I was more new to it, but I learned. You can't stand the fact that I've gotten better at handling this, and you're still stuck in a rut. You might be making more money out here for the time being, but that's why we're in court. We're in court to stop that because it's not right. It's not right to commercially exploit me. What's going on? This is narrative jujitsu. He tries to make your enforcement posture look criminal. It also gives his chat a villain story to donate around. Situation 23, you only have attention because of haters. What he does, he says your audience is only there to laugh at you and that you need haters. What's going on? That claim serves two purposes. We have 27 people here, 28 people here. We've had around 30 or so throughout the show. And most are not chatting. Some are probably blocked. Some are not chatting because they don't want you coming at them, sir. They're afraid of you. That's the truth of the matter. That's the truth of the matter. Okay, what's going on? That claim serves two purposes. It denies your legitimacy as a creator. Number two, it justifies its own exploitation. I'm not harming you. You need this. I don't need anything, sir. All I need is what I've got here. Heart and soul, man. Situation 24. I asked ChatGPT how to frame. It tells me not to call you an idiot. So this guy basically runs things through ChatGPT, and ChatGPT explicitly warns him to not insult me. What he does, he brags, he consults ChatGPT, then disregards it and mocks you for allegedly relying on it. So he runs things through ChatGPT. ChatGPT says, don't insult him. This doesn't look good. You're in an active court case. Then he says, F you to ChatGPT and mocks me for using ChatGPT the right way. People are going to catch on to your hypocrisy, sir. At some point, you're going to see. Continue to try to siphon money off my name until, like you say, a court order stops you. And just see what happens. Your own audience is going to sputter. And they already have. What's going on? He's trying to poison the well around your analytical style. ChatGPT is fueling his delusions. At the same time, and this is my ChatGPT telling me that, at the same time, he normalizes using it himself because he wants the tool while discrediting your use of it. So you want to use the tool and discredit me from using it. Situation 25. Last one, and then I've got a final section here. Send more donations. We need to get to $200. What he does, direct fundraising push while discussing you and your case and the case. What's going on? This is the purest tell. The case is a revenue event. The case is a revenue event for you. And you're trying to throw it back at me, saying I'm using this case for content, or I have nothing without this case, or without you and the other people. That's not true. But you're the one that's siphoning the money off the case through your audience. The anger spikes, insults, and legal talk are all tuned to keep the meter moving. Big picture, what's going on with the defendant? Putting all those situations together, here's the real architecture. 1, he's running a monetized conflict loop, not an information loop. The donations interrupts plus goals plus bits show the primary KPI, which stands for key performance indicators, is revenue, not truth. Number 2, he treats your procedural moves as threat vectors to his content engine. Preservation plus rebroadcast talk threatens his under-the-radar ecosystem. That's why he overreacts and strawmans. Number 3, his core tactic is inversion. Your conduct concerns equals speech censorship to him. Your documentation equals surveillance obsession to him. Your enforcement equals you're the one spoiling evidence to him. Your composure equals court performance / fake regulation to him. Number 4, he can't stay bounded. When the topic is specific, your email, he quickly escalates to profanity, dawn insults, finances, mental health claims, family insinuations, extortion allegation, because specificity is where he's weak and broad smear is where he's strong. Do you hear this, sir? I was telling you this before I even read the ChatGPT analysis. Because specificity, being specific and speaking on the merits of the issues, is where you're weak. And broad smear is where you're strong, sir. That is pathetic, man. Absolutely pathetic. Number 5, he is actively reinforcing third-party harassment content as a distribution hub. He did it with MJ. He's done it with Bill. He's done it with 2 other women. They know who they are. We don't have to mention them. He's done it with other people. You are a third-party harassment content creator, and you use these people as distribution hubs. You've learned to weaponize everyone, sir. You've learned to weaponize and extract from other. Let's just call it extracting. You extract from other people. You take from other people to benefit yourself. You take even within your own group of people to benefit yourself, man. That's pathetic, man. Doesn't make you a good man, in my opinion. It may not be. Most of the things you do may not be technically illegal. You really push the line all the time. You have done many illegal things, which is why we're in civil court. But even the things that aren't illegal don't make you look good, man. They don't make you look like a good, decent, reasonable human being. Playing MJ, praising it, and encouraging subscriptions is not passive. It is ecosystem maintenance. And number 6, last but not least, he is managing loss optics. After not getting what he wanted at the hearing, you see backpedaling, redefining what he promised, claiming level playing field, and trying to recrown himself as the reasonable party. You can try to crown yourself whatever the hell you want, sir. That's on you. And I'm done. Oh, one last thing here. Correcting the record line, tight and clip proof. If you want to clip it, whatever. It'll only make me look better. Nothing in my email told the defendant to control a non-party's channel. It asked the defendant to preserve what he has, his own posts, messages, and records, and to confirm in writing whether he disputes any narrowly tailored requests tied to third-party rebroadcast conduct and evidence preservation. That's it. Everything else is just noise. Hey, Sandra, how are you doing? Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm 2 hours late. We are at 2 hours and 19 minutes. I'll be going live from a walk in about an hour, Sandra. So it's all good. You'll get another live from me today. It'll be a cool, calm, and collected walk, and you can watch this later. There's a lot of great information here. If you want to watch it later, you can. But thank you for being here. Happy Valentine's Day, Sandra and Tia and everyone else here at the GNA. Happy Valentine's Day to even you as well, GLM and Angels Asylum, who GLM, my lady, call Rustic. And anyone else that I missed, happy Valentine's Day. All right, so my lady's quote. Give me a second. Dawn's quote, respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Dawn says, Valentine's Day is a gentle reminder that love isn't measured in grand gestures, but in the quiet, daily ways we choose one another. That was beautiful, babe. One more time. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Dawn says, and 1 minute delay, Sandra, between what I say and what goes out. You know how it goes in these live streams. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Dawn again says Valentine's Day is a gentle reminder that love isn't measured in grand gestures, but in the quiet daily ways we choose one another. So what you're saying, babe, it's more than the expensive, overly priced flowers that most men get their women on this day, and all the other, what do you call it? Monetary things. It's more about the heart and soul and what we mean to each other. It's more about us spending time together than the tangible stuff, the Valentine's Day flowers and all of that, right? Okay. We're leaving 30 in the box. Thank you to everyone for being here. I know it's Valentine's Day. A lot of people are out spending time with their loved ones, and they'll probably catch the replay. I'll be going live here on GNA2 in about an hour or so, maybe a little more than an hour, probably around 8 Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, or shortly after that. 7 Central for you, Sandra and Tia, or shortly after that. Oh, happy Valentine's Day to you as well, Dana. Thank you for being here, that which you know. I'll talk with Don, and we'll probably get you moderated here. We really, really do appreciate your support. With that being said, 2 hours and 22 minutes. Have a good one. Take care, and as always, be good to each other.